a heartbreaking 0-4, and the track team has been successful in relays for both the boys and the girls. We are all very grateful that we get the chance to play sports again. Another new aspect of the school is lunches. All grades eat in the gym in 17-minute periods, while the other 17 minutes are for study hall. It was weird eating lunch again and seeing everyone's faces without their masks, but it went really well. My friends and I have been really enjoying lunches, and we are really grateful. The 8th grade had a pop-up social emotional learning grade last Thursday. After first and second period, the entire grade went outside and was split into groups. There were many different stations like yoga, bingo, therapy dogs, walking, kickball, and more. We spent the entire day outside, which was really refreshing, and all my friends really enjoyed it. Thank you to Mrs. Drew and Mrs. McGinn for organizing. Last month was a big month for BMS Student Council. We had a virtual interview with former MLB All-Star Sean Casey. We spent months planning this out, so it was awesome to see it all come together. All students have access to the Zoom call through the grade Google Classroom pages. The event was a live virtual event for the 7th and 8th grade Student Council. We have really been enjoying the good weather at BMS. 5th graders have been outside flying kites, and there are sunflowers being planted, and they use white buckets as a way to continue to be green at BMS. I look forward to coming back next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Lucy Taylor.
Is this mic on?
Get really close.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Lucy Taylor. I'm a senior and this year's Board of Education student representative. I hope you are all doing well. As it has been only just a few weeks since we last met, there are just a few things that have happened between then and now. As Dr. Dempsey mentioned, last week it was Teacher Appreciation Week, and today it was Nurse Appreciation Day. Amidst COVID, it has been more important than ever to recognize all the hard work the teachers and nurses have put in to see this year run as smoothly as possible. This year, we had one of the best staff appreciation weeks ever, and the work our teachers and staff have put in has been unmatched. We students are truly thankful for all of the hard work our teachers have put. We students are truly lucky to have such a great staff, and we thank you all every day for the hard work and dedication you've shown to us all year. Thank you, teachers, nurses, and administrators. Bernard's Fest for seniors took place on Friday, and it was fantastic. It was really, really great to be able to have an event like this with friends and classmates. The music was awesome. The setup was great. The food truck was amazing. And it showed all of the hard work parents put into seeing this event through. Thank you to all parents who helped make this night as special as it was. AP testing has officially started last week. Just like many things this year, AP tests are very unusual. There are different administrations for in-person and virtual students, and some students could be taking tests up to June 10th. Good luck to all students taking AP tests over the next few weeks. Just as mentioned in the meeting a few weeks ago, spring sports have been doing great. Be sure to watch a spring sport in the next couple of weeks because they are really killing it this year. I can't wait to see what they do in the next few weeks. Good luck to all spring sport athletes. Finally, we are back to full days. The past 3 days have certainly been an adjustment, and it will be interesting to see how the next few weeks play out. I hope for the best. As with this year, we all deserve a happy ending. That's all I have for today. Thank you, and have a great evening.
All right. We are so happy to have our principals here who are going to introduce our educators of the year. Ms. Phelan, I know you're back there somewhere. Yes. All right, you're up first.
So it is my pleasure to talk about two fabulous staff members at Bedwell,
And I'd like to start with Sarah Westphal. And Sarah, if you could just come up here and stand. So it is my honor to recognize Sarah as Bedwell's Teacher of the Year. Sarah is a first grade teacher in her 6th year at Bedwell, and she has an innate sense of what motivates her students and what they need to thrive and succeed. Her student-centered classroom is a place of warmth, joyfulness, exploration, and enthusiasm. Sarah is flexible, collaborative, and a role model of professionalism for all she encounters. And she has taken a leadership role in sharing her expertise with Seesaw and other instructional tools and ideas that benefit not only her students, but other students in the building as well. Sarah is always willing to reflect on her teaching, to explore new ideas, to listen and apply what she learns. Her approach is guided by the pedagogical knowledge that her skill in crafting a vibrant classroom environment, and her commitment to evaluating what her students need each and every day. This excellence, coupled with her passion for teaching young children and her dedication to her students' social and emotional well-being, all point to the well-deserved honor of Bedwell's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Sarah.
Congratulations, Sarah.
I'd now like to ask Fred Tietz to come up and stand here, please. It is also my honor to recognize Fred Tietz as Bedwell's Paraprofessional of the Year. Mr. Fred, as the students call him, is a true asset to any classroom. He is always willing to jump right in and assist students. Fred demonstrates tireless enthusiasm and genuine interest in the students. He is kind, engaging, respectful, patient, dedicated, and a wonderful role model. I will close with this excerpt from one of the parent nomination letters. What an awesome example he is for all children, but especially the boys. He is the kind of man you hope that your son turns out to be like. Congratulations, Fred.
Congratulations, Fred. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Lisa Garofalo, are you back there?
I am. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone, and behind this mask I have a great big smile. You can't really see it, but it's there. It is with tremendous pleasure that I am here to recognize and honor both our Educator of the Year and our Paraprofessional of the Year. So Marcy Craver, if you would like to step up, please. I'd like to share with you some words that Marcy's colleagues have shared about her in the nomination process. Whenever there is a problem, Marcy Craver is always there to step in and help out. She is caring and thoughtful in all situations. She always has the student's best interest at heart. Marcy truly has a way with words and always knows the right thing to say when helping an upset student. An area that Marcy excels at is developing plans to support students, whether she's working with an emotional, social, or academic problem. During parents' meetings, Marcy always has the word, the strategy. She's wonderful explaining and problem solving and brainstorming strategies that promote growth and success. She is a valued member of our INRS committee and developing strategies for all students. She's attentive to the needs and nuances of the children that she works with. She takes into account the goals shared by the team and creates activities that engage and help her students. I would like to share a little bit about, in the process of nominating Marcy Craver, we also had students who nominated her as well, and I'd like to share a little bit of that. Mrs. Craver's students say the following: she is one of the most caring, helping, and genial people I know. I see her all around the school, putting up posters, setting up a photo booth for Attitude of Gratitude, and just simply having conversations with my peers and teachers. I have the pleasure of being a peer leader, which is a group run by Mrs. Craver. From our first meeting, she makes sure everyone is involved and, more importantly, sharing their voices and ideas. And I enjoy hearing her talk
because it seems like what she is saying is coming right from her heart rather than her brain. Mrs. Graver makes everyone at BMS feel comfortable and like they can do anything. And she is always there for you if you need anyone to talk to. Congratulations, Marcy, on this well-deserved award.
Congratulations, Marcy.
It is also with great pleasure and enthusiasm that I share the nominating language about our paraprofessional here, Athena Hillriegel. Athena, please come up. Athena has worked tirelessly with one of the students in my self-contained classroom, but in the end, she ended up working with all of my students with varying needs. She takes every opportunity to learn what students' interests are, to engage and communicate. She recognizes the importance of an inclusive community in the school. You will always find Athena walking through the hallways of the school, greeting everyone with a huge smile and an even louder and sincere good morning. Everyone knows her for her kindness and the positive attitude that she exudes throughout the school building every day. Athena, congratulations on this well-deserved award.
Dr. Nigel, it's all you.
Thank you. I am very excited to announce our Educator of the Year, Ms. Megan Dooley. Come on up. Mrs. Megan Dooley has been a school counselor at Burners High School for the past 12 years. Over that time, Mrs. Dooley has proven herself as a tireless advocate for her students. She's made several phone calls to me advocating on behalf of her students. She is highly effective at finding ways to assist her students no matter what their problem or concern is. She consistently goes above and beyond expectations of students, parents, guardians, colleagues, or administrators. She develops strong, positive relationships with her students, and she excels in all areas of school counseling, from the college selection, application, acceptance process to providing support for our most vulnerable students. Mrs. Dooley is someone who our students can count on for sound advice and support as they progress through high school. She is truly a team player, always willing to assist other counselors, teachers, and administrators. Mrs. Dooley is one of BHS's most diligent employees, and even when she is dealing with whatever crisis the day may bring, she remains one of the most positive, upbeat educators in the building. BHS is lucky to have a dedicated professional who has made such a tremendous impact on our students. Congratulations to our BHS Educator of the Year, Mrs. Megan Dooley.
Of you and your colleagues who aren't here. We know it has been a year that none of us will forget, and I think to be honored this way in such a year, you should give yourself that little extra pat on the back. I am happy to say that as we wrap up the superintendent's report, we have some board members who want to speak about some of our other educators. I am sad to report they're going to be speaking about retirements, but certainly we understand that that's part of the cycle. So Janice, do you want to start?
Sure. The Somerset Hills Board of Education would like to recognize Susan Fisher for her distinguished service to our school district. Susan began employment in our district on September 2007. She served as the supervisor of language arts, visual and performing arts, and media specialist. Susan began as an elementary school teacher at Bedwell, then served as a reading specialist at Bernardsville Middle School prior to becoming an administrator in September 2017. In addition, she facilitates all professional development with Columbia University Teachers College. We sincerely appreciate and applaud Susan Fisher's contributions to our district and wish her well in her retirement.
Nicole?
Yes.
Sorry.
The Somerset Hills Board of Education would like to recognize Robin Nichol for her distinguished service to our school district. Ms. Nichol started working in our district in December of 2004 and worked as a secretary in the main office at the high school for more than 15 years. We sincerely appreciate and applaud Ms. Nichol's service to our district and wish her well in her retirement.
Somerset Hills Board of Education would like to recognize Ed Pondel for his distinguished service to our district. Ed began employment in our district in September 2015 and taught industrial arts at BHS. Specific courses include woodworking. Ed also participated in extracurriculars including set construction for plays and musicals. We sincerely appreciate and applaud Ed Pondel's service to our district and wish him well in his retirement.
And certainly you are all welcome to stay for the entire board meeting if you want to, but you will not hurt our feelings if you decide that this is an opportune moment for you to shuffle off. And as you're shuffling, I do just want to thank you on behalf of the board, because clearly the passion that you have has touched our students and our families and your fellow staff. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, we're going to move on to public comment. We very much welcome input from the public. Public comments are welcome at this time on any agenda item. Towards the end of the meeting, there is a second public forum on any topic. Please state your name and address. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, but an individual may speak a second time after all others who wish to speak on the topic have been heard. Please understand that our public forums are not structured as question and answer sessions, but are offered as opportunities to share your thoughts with the board. In instances where the board feels that there is a misunderstanding or inaccuracy, the board president or superintendent may address the comment. In accordance with New Jersey statute, the board will not discuss matters regarding specific personnel. Public questions and comments will be limited to 30 minutes. Thank you for your input. Mrs. DeMarco, were there any comments that were emailed in prior to the meeting?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing that there are no public comments, can I get a motion to close public comment session?
Motion to close public comment.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are going to move on to committee reports. I'm going to recommend that we move the organizational action items to after committee reports have been finalized, because we'll be touching on some of those in our committee reports. Do we need a motion for that, or we could just move it?
Do you want to approve the minutes? They're actually also before your committee reports, so I just don't want you to lose those.
Okay, graduate. Okay. But yes, can we approve the minutes? They're
Page 28,
Page 20.
Roman numeral 10.
Yep, 28, item.
Okay. So can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Nicole and Sarah? Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, so we can move into committee report. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda,
Yes.
Mrs. Lees,
Yes.
Ms. Nathans,
Yes.
Mrs. Tober,
Yes.
Ms. Virtue,
Yes.
Mrs. Rye,
Yes.
and Mrs. Santoro.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Bob, finance, please.
The Finance Committee met last Wednesday for 45 minutes. Everybody was in attendance along with Dr. Dempsey and Mrs. DeMarco. And we discussed 5 items, and several of these items are on the agenda for approval tonight. The first one was the compensation changes for the assistant superintendent and the business administrator. That's on the agenda. We talked about the unaffiliated staff, the employees not represented by Shea or Shaw, the bargaining units, and they're all on the agenda tonight also. We talked about the Macchio's contract renewal. It's up this year. They're getting a 1% increase in their management fees, so that's $15,750 for Macchio's. We also talked about the using Hands-On Tech LLC to temporarily help us with data management with Power School until we hire a replacement for an employee who has left that job. That's on the agenda. And we also talked about open enrollment for the dental and the flexible spending healthcare plan, which we're going to have starting now, right? Okay. So that's also mentioned on the agenda too. So our dental premium went up 0%, which was exciting. You know, if you remember back to our medical premium, it stayed flat also. So we're doing very well. Our experience is very good on healthcare. And that's what we talked about. So anybody have it? I'd like to move action items 1 through, there's a lot of these here. 1, 2, 3. Items 1 through 7 on the main agenda and 8 on the addendum. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions about what I discussed or what's on the agenda for approval? Seeing none, on a roll call?
Mr. Baker,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda,
Yes.
Mrs. Lees,
Yes.
Ms. Nathans,
Yes.
Mrs. Tober,
Yes.
Ms. Virtue,
Yes.
Mrs. Rye,
Yes.
and Mrs. Santoro.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you. So, curriculum. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Pat. F&O, please.
F&O met last Wednesday afternoon from 4 o'clock. We had about a 60-minute meeting. All members were in attendance, Mr. Baker, Mr. Rosen, Ms. Santoro, Ms. Tober, and myself. In addition, Dr. Dempsey and Ms. DeMarco were there. The things we talked about in-person board meetings, and look what's happened. We did talk a lot about the logistics of this, and I know that those have been communicated to the public already, and I may say that I'm very glad that we are indeed here in person. The meetings are, as you know, streaming live, and we are taking questions remotely from people who wish to email them, as well as anyone who's here in person who would like to ask a question. And the committee was very happy to recommend that for approval. We also got a request from the AAUW for their annual book sale. We couldn't hold it last year, obviously, because of COVID, but the AAUW requests that BMS be made available for their annual sale from August 5th through 7th. They are going to set up for the sale for about 2 weeks prior to that, and they will clean up on August 9th. We absolutely recommend approval of that request. We received another request for a rental of the Ppac and for a private dance recital. Although we're very open to outside rentals, we've decided that this time the committee does not think it's a good idea to do this. But that does not mean that going forward into next year that we will not approve such rentals. Informationally, the results of the Ppac Gladstone busing survey came back. Approximately 50% of the families involved who could have talked about this responded, and of that 50%, 38% of those said yes, they would like busing as opposed to train usage for their high school students. As the routes in question are already in existence, and the numbers of high school students who could potentially opt into this would not overload those buses, we think that again, we will have no problem accommodating any students from Ppac and Gladstone on the high school level who wish to take the bus rather than the train. An additional survey is going to be sent out to families, those who responded as well as those who didn't, so that they can indicate what their personal preference is for the 2021-2022 year. It should be noted that once an option is selected, there can be no back and forth. So once you choose either the bus or the train, you're locked into that. And that is my entire presentation. I have one action item for approval, and that's about bus contracts for next year. Does anybody have any discussion about that?
I have a question. With only 50% of the families responding, and if you send another survey and you still only get, say, 50%, are you going to go and track down those people who haven't responded? Or what's
I think the option will be that if you don't respond to the survey, then you'll be defaulted to our typical train, or that you'll drive on your own. So if you're interested in the bus, I would encourage everyone to respond. But I would encourage everyone to respond anyways. But instead of tracking everyone down, we'll just default to what we have set in place.
That makes sense.
Any other discussion? Oh, well, then,
Pat, I just want to clear up one thing for a second. So right now, with comments coming in from the public, we're only accepting them till 4 o'clock, which is what we had been doing when we were doing Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
So just wanted to clear that up. We're not taking email comments live during the meeting.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Did you have a second?
I don't think I made the motion yet. I'm going to try to do it now. Do I have a motion to approve action item number 1 for F&L?
I make the motion.
Janice? Second? Samantha? Sam? Do we have a roll call?
Oh, no, I'm just...
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda?
Yes.
Mrs. Lees?
Yes.
Ms. Nathans?
Yes.
Mrs. Tober?
Yes.
Ms. Virtue?
Yes.
Mrs. Rye?
Yes.
Mrs. Santoro?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay. Curriculum.
Well, the curriculum committee met on Tuesday, May 5th for 1 hour and 45 minutes, and all committee members were in attendance. Dr. Dempsey, Dr. Butler, Mr. Catelli, and Ms. Coughlin also joined us. We started the meeting by approving all professional development requests. Mr. Catelli then joined us to present the administration's proposed plan for language learning at BMS next year and its relevant rationale. Briefly, BMS students currently choose one of the 3 world languages at the end of 5th grade, making a 3-year commitment to continue with the chosen language. Demographic estimates and just looking at enrollment at Bedwell indicate that BMS's student body will decrease significantly over the next 5 years, and declining enrollment will make it difficult to continue to offer 3 languages at BMS. Mr. Catelli also reported that most middle schools the size of BMS only offer 1 or 2 languages. Results from the BMS World Language Survey suggest a relative lack of interest in Latin among 5th grade parents, with only 3 parents choosing Latin as their first or second choice of language. Spanish and French were the overwhelming first and second choices. Parents also expressed interest in American Sign Language, or ASL. Given the projected challenges of running 3 languages with a significant decline in enrollment, we agreed that there are significant advantages to moving to 2 languages, such as the ability to focus limited resources on fewer languages and the opportunity to offer students more flexibility in world language pathways. Currently, struggling students are locked into a specific pathway for 3 years, with no ability to switch courses until they reach the high school. Offering fewer languages may help BMS address the needs of these students. Considering these challenges, Mr. Catelli recommended moving towards a curriculum that offers 2 primary languages to our middle school students in a phased approach. First, the parents of current 5th grade students will be contacted regarding their choice of language in 6th grade, offering French or Spanish. Parents who would have chosen Latin will have a mechanism for voicing that preference so that the district can fully gauge this grade's interest in Latin. The district will also reach out to the parents of current 6th and 7th grade students enrolled in Latin to determine whether there remains sufficient interest in continuing Latin in 7th and 8th grades. If there is sufficient interest, the district will advertise for a part-time Latin teacher for these students, given the retirement of our current and treasured Latin teacher, Magistra Martin. If a qualified and acceptable candidate is found, the administration can then consider whether there is sufficient interest among current 5th grade parents to offer Latin in grade 6. If a qualified candidate is not found, the language supervisor will work with current BMS Latin students and their families to determine their preference for either continuing to study Latin virtually or switching to Spanish or French. For students who choose to switch to Spanish or French, a new transitional curriculum may need to be developed. The district will continue to explore the development of an ASL-related arts class for interested students, given the demand for ASL suggested by the results of the survey. The district could consider advertising for a part-time ASL teacher to meet this need or leverage a virtual option. The committee acknowledges that finding qualified and acceptable part-time candidates for either Latin or ASL may be difficult. Once a plan for 2021 to 2022 is in place, the district will need to determine the length of time that Latin will continue to be offered at BMS and clarify the feasibility of the ASL option. We then discussed the need for additional curricular planning to help address ongoing harassment, intimidation, and bullying, or HIV, incidents involving racism, anti-Semitism, and other forms of bias, primarily occurring at BMS. While BMS's Culture and Climate program has been successful, additional work is needed. An important guide to any initiative will be the updated state standards for social studies, which stress the need for and a commitment to civility, open-mindedness, compromise, and tolerance of diversity. Other guides include our district's expectations as outlined in our policies, our work related to student wellness and the School Culture and Climate Initiative, and our district-level partnership with the Bernardsville Police Department, which guides our response to hate acts and bias-related incidents. The committee agreed that additional curricular work to address these ongoing issues was urgently needed. We also discussed the need to raise awareness among parents about the potential outcomes of HIV incidents involving bias, including the involvement of the BPD. We also considered the possibility of developing virtual programs, podcasts, and videos involving the BPD to foster tolerance and to raise awareness of these issues. Finally, we reviewed topics for future curriculum meetings. In June, we'll discuss proposed changes to BMS math and math textbooks, and in June or August, we'll discuss what's included in the curriculum of AP classes following the AP exams in May. So that concludes my report. I'd like to move items 1 to 3 on the agenda and item 2 on the addendum. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Questions? Comments? Roll call?
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda?
Yes.
Mrs. Lees?
Yes.
Ms. Nathans?
Yes.
Mrs. Tober?
Yes.
Ms. Virtue?
Yes.
Mrs. Rye?
Yes.
And Mrs. Santoro?
Yes, with the exception of 2B.
You're abstaining.
I'm abstaining from 2B.
Okay. Motion carries.
Yeah, this,
I should have abstained from 2A.
yeah.
Okay, that's noted.
Okay. Personnel, please. Me, right? Yeah, sorry. That's okay. The Personnel Committee met on May 6th at 3 p.m. for about an hour and a quarter. All board members were in attendance, which included Mrs. Lees, Mr. Rosen, Mrs. Santoro, and Ms. Virtue. Our 2 administrators, Dr. Dempsey and Dr. Butler, were also in attendance, along with our administrative assistant, Ms. Coughlin. Additionally, we were joined by Mrs. Susan Fisher, the district's K-12 supervisor of English Language Arts, Visual and Performing Arts, and Media Specialists. Our meeting topics surrounded personnel and district planning for the 2021 to 2022 school year. With that, I would like to move items numbers 1 through 6 on the agenda, as well as items number 7 through 9 on the addendum. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, Mrs. DeMarco, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda?
Yes.
Mrs. Lees?
Yes.
Ms. Nathans?
Yes.
Mrs. Tober?
Yes.
Ms. Virtue?
Yes.
Mrs. Rye?
Yes.
And Mrs. Santoro?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, policy.
The policy committee did not meet this month because we had such a light agenda. So we only had one item in first reading, which was Regulation 7511, use of athletic fields, which just allows for the addition of some language that we discussed last month, which would allow the other events on the turf field to go later than 8 p.m. with permission from the business office. We talked about that in regards to the senior events that were going to be on the field this past month. Otherwise, we just had some mandated items in second reading and policy 2468, independent educational evaluations in second reading. So that was it. With that, I would like to move items 1 through 2 on the agenda. Can I have a second?
No second.
Thank you, Bob. And is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda?
Yes.
Mrs. Lees?
Yes.
Ms. Nathans?
Yes.
Mrs. Tober?
Yes.
Ms. Virtue?
Yes.
Mrs. Rye?
Yes.
And Mrs. Santoro?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, community relations.
Okay, Community Relations met on May 4th at 8:45 a.m. and our meeting was approximately an hour and a quarter long. In attendance were all of our board members that are members of that committee and our administrators, Dr. Dempsey and Dr. Butler, as well as our administrative intern, Teresa Coughlin. We began our conversation discussing some of the logistical, operational, and practical matters involved in the district's return to full-day in-person education. Matters discussed range from technology implications, lunch study hall procedures, cohort percentage distribution, and safety and traffic concerns. Traffic concerns on senior around BMS and Bedwell dismissal are being addressed collaboratively between the Bernardsville Police Department, the district, and building level administrators. Adjustments to procedure and additional safety protocols have been put in place to help facilitate dismissal and safe movement of vehicle and pedestrian traffic. These measures have already resulted in improvements and will continue to be monitored and adjusted as necessary to accommodate increases in traffic. A very brief discussion was had regarding the basketball program at BHS and how it will be progressing and evolving moving forward. Dr. Butler gave us an update on continued administrative work regarding Google Classroom assignment submission and alerts. Work towards a more comprehensive and developmentally appropriate solution will continue at BMS and BHS, and the administration will continue to investigate suitable solutions for students at all levels as we return to a more normal in-person schedule. The Community Relations Board members met on Tuesday, April 27th to continue work on our webpage updates and redevelopment. The goal of this meeting was to create a new drop-down menu for the district BOE website and to define what would ultimately appear on each of those pages. A document was created to define what could be accomplished in the first steps of this process, which includes consolidating, repackaging existing information to streamline navigation and links to valuable documents for public information, and to update the BOE members and committee page to make board member email addresses visible to the public. In discussing the importance of making contacting board members as simple as possible via the website, we also had an important discussion regarding the district chain of command, which ultimately will also be included in the BOE website update. Contacting a board member should never be the first attempt at resolving a problem or getting answers to questions. The most effective and efficient way to solve school-related issues is with the district staff closest to the problem. For example, if there is a problem within the classroom, that issue should first be discussed with the teacher, escalating to the building principal, appropriate supervisor when necessary, and the superintendent in that order and only as necessary. As per Board Policy 9130, only in those cases where satisfactory adjustment cannot be made by the superintendent and the staff shall communications and complaints be referred to the board for resolution. The district chain of command escalates in the following manner. Staff member or teacher, principal or department supervisor, superintendent, and then if all other courses of action have not made adjustments to the situation, the Board of Education. And that concludes my report, and I have no items to move this evening. Thank you.
Now, a question about the traffic at Bedwell. Has it improved these last 3 days?
I think it has improved in the sense that I was, hold on, I'm sorry. I was over there on Monday afternoon in the back of Bedwell. The car rider dismissal started at about 3:26, and by about 3:38, 3:39, it was done. I could see the front of the building, and I saw the last bus take off. Amy has indicated that the morning is certainly better. I know Kevin Valentine continues to have some concerns around CNE from a standpoint of ensuring that drivers and pedestrians are all conscious of safety to the greatest degree possible. So I think we're on the right track and people are getting in the groove.
Gretchen, I also just wanted to add, because I saw it with my own eyes at BMS, because there was an issue at BMS also surrounding, not as bad as Bedwell dismissal, because there's a lot more kids involved, but the police department has a tremendous presence there right now. And so far as there was a police officer physically turning students back that thought they were going to meet their cars, and he was physically turning them back to go wait in the appropriate area, which within minutes completely cut down on the kid foot traffic through parking lots and such. So to me, that was a huge improvement. And just from my standpoint and that particular, and Brian Lasky has been out there directing traffic to make sure that it's looping appropriately to get cars off the street as quickly as possible. So there are definitely some improvements that
I know that some members of the public were concerned about the police presence in that it creates some anxiety, but certainly they are there for the right reasons. And I think the fact that the chief of police was parked on CNE watching it all unfold speaks to their commitment to ensuring our kids' safety.
Well, having had the pleasure of doing car rider duty for many years at Bedwell School, I will say that when the police sent the children back to follow the rules, that is key. And once the kids get used to the fact that that's what they have to do, things will fall into line again.
No doubt.
Any other discussion around community relations? Okay, so we need to go back and do organizational action items. Can I get a motion to move organizational action items 1 through 70? Okay. A second?
Second.
Thanks, Pat. Any discussion? No? Roll call.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Frenda?
Yes.
Mrs. Lees?
Yes.
Ms. Nathans?
Yes.
Mrs. Tober?
Yes.
Ms. Virtue?
Yes.
Mrs. Rye?
Yes.
Mrs. Santoro?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Any supplementary matters this evening? I would just like to take the opportunity, we have a lot of things to celebrate this evening, to congratulate Dr. Butler on her graduation. So we know you worked hard and
Thank you so much. It sounds so funny when someone says Dr. Butler. I keep looking to see where he or she is. Thank you. Thanks for all your
we
support.
will help you get used to that. Thank you.
And we have to get a new sign.
Yes, it's on order.
Anybody else?
I would just like to say, it's really nice to see all of you in person.
It is.
It is.
Here, here.
Yes. Okay, public questions and comments. Public comments are welcome at this time on any topic. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Thank you for your input. Okay. Seeing there are no public comments at this time, can I have a motion to close public comments?
I'll make a motion to close public comments.
Thank you, Bob. Any second? Sam? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, well, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. This was a lovely meeting.
Thank you, Bob.
Second that?
Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bob, you look like a talk show host. I'll make it.
I asked maybe you were going to say
You're not going to say?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
Because I told her it was all the like
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes, if you want to take stuff inside, feel free, but please leave the binders. So I can, I mean, if you want the binders, you can take it, because I don't know. Lovely meeting. Thank you. Thank you for your help.